Hey guys, and welcome back to another YouTube video. In this video I'll be going through and previewing my round 5 side for AFL Fantasy 2024, going through my trades, going through my thoughts, as my trades are a little bit different to what I sort of projected at the start of the week, as I've changed them just because it makes my next sort of 2 to 3 weeks better. And I think across the sort of bye weeks I can gain sort of 20 to 30 points at least this week, and then potentially 20 to 30 points next week for a different reason, alongside still gaining 20 to 30 points. So in the end, I may gain somewhere around 60 to 90 points just on the basis of one strategy over another. And it also means that my trades are a little bit simpler, and so that is the reason why I'm doing it. So before we get into this video, remember to like and subscribe, turn the notification bell on so you know when I upload, and let's get into this video. So as we go into this video, and I'll make it bigger for you, here you go. You can see I have 180k remaining. We go down here, first line, nothing different here. Sheasel, Whitfield, Young. Now you're probably seeing Blake Howes and you're thinking, weren't you going to get rid of him for Closey? Now, as you can see, Closey is here and no Massimo D'Ambrosio. So the one thing that's going to basically kick me here is if Massimo goes like a 90 or something like that. But I have faith in Zach Williams being able to pop out that big score rather than Massimo. And that is my big worry, that Massimo might go large. But in the end, is it going to cost me like 30 points or so? Maybe 30 points, but I feel like I'm going to gain it back anyway through the trade-in that I've got anyway, who I think is going to beat out the trade-in that I would have had with House. Because basically it's the same, it's bringing in Closey, but it's bringing in a different top-line guy. So that's the reason behind that. So I think I still at least break even, if not go better, with this trade set. And it also just helps me get the 3 guys in that I want in the future in the right order. And that's what I want in the end, because it's about timing your players. And I think sacrificing a little bit now on Massimo is going to work out in the long run, especially with DPPs coming up. He's going to be gone in the next 2 weeks, and I don't really see that being cashed in. So for me to get the top line guy that I want, which will be here for the rest of the season, and to be able to get the same guy, the guy that I would have traded in anyway, this week, if it wasn't for the guy that I'm trading in, then I wouldn't be able to do it if I did it the opposite order, whereas the order that I'm going to do it is actually possible. And I know that is so confusing at the moment, but I will explain it once we get down to them. So How's in this week, stays in this week, has a 55 break even, so this could lose me. Say he goes 30 again, 25 difference, that could lose me roughly 25 difference. That could be 20k. So he plays Brisbane. Brisbane have given up a little bit to defenders at the moment, I'm pretty sure. So let's just go to DFS and double check this for you guys. DFS, love this website and the way that they do it here. And then you got Brisbane. You got general defenders here, -10 in their last 10. But in their last 5, they are -20 actually. Wow. So they don't give it up, even though they gave comp points last week. So key defenders in general that aren't classified as attacking defenders or above designated. That is surprising that they're -20, I'll be honest with you. I thought that they would be a lot less, I guess. But they are second worst in the matchups. So take that in as what we're looking at, as well as I just want to give you this. This will be referenced later, this ruck line. So there's that. So Howes at the moment, that's an interesting one to think that they're not giving up many points to key defenders, I guess, but Howes is sort of that intercepting tools. Hopefully, given that what Combin did, he can do something similar. And even if he just gets a 50 or a 60, if not more, then it could actually be helpful, as a 50 or a 60, it sort of locks in a score there. Whereas if I go with a Closey, I may gain 30 points, but I may also lose like sort of 20 points as well. So Howes, I reckon if he goes anything above about 60, 65, I'll probably lock that in just to get a score in there in that position. So then Elliot Yeo, Zach Williams, Closey, and then Zach Reed. Zach Reed's 3 to 4 weeks away, so that plan's still running true. That'll be almost like a trading in another rookie when he does that. Closey, hopefully he continues his cash gen on field at the moment, because I don't trust Blake Howes doing well, given he's gone 23 and 30. But if Blake Howes returns to 78, then that is on field. Zach Reed, we have Zach Reed there as well, and I don't believe I'll have I think Zach Reed's playing in the second game, so I won't have a captaincy loop through that line. And my captaincy loop will most likely be through Bennett. Hopefully he plays, or else it will have to be through Roberts in the midfield, and I will just do that scenario there with, I think, Riley Sanders off field or something, or Jeremy Sharp off field or something like that, just to get the points there and get the captaincy loophole. Back six the same. Then the middle 8 plus the bench here, you can see the captaincy is, you can see working it there. Bontempelli VC, I have a feeling he goes large against Essendon. And I just have a feeling he's the type of guy that could easily, just like Josh Dunkley did, I think 1 or 2 times across the last couple of years, and I think Rowan Marshall might have done this as well, is where they get 10 in every single stat line. And I know Rowan Marshall obviously has the hitouts, but Bontempelli could legitimately go 20 kicks, 10 handballs, 10 marks, 10 tackles. And that right there would be a huge number. That would be 70, 10 handballs, 90. That would be a 150 right there. So yeah, I could legitimately see him doing something like that. We saw last week that he went 21, 14, 3, 10, and 1 goal 1 for a 149. I could see him doing a big one now. I think his ankle complaints are over, and I think Essendon now, if we look back at this one and we go inside mids, you'll see Essendon are the second best inside mid matchup for the year. And so yeah, I'm looking at that one and thinking Bont for the VC. And then we also I just want to look at wing defenders for you guys. You'll see Western Bulldogs are also a really good matchup for the likes of a Nick Martin, but I just think Bont has the capability of going potentially anywhere from 130 to a 170, whereas I don't know the hit rate necessarily of Martin. And that's why I don't have the VC on Martin at the moment, even though Martin is averaging more across the year, because he's had 145 game, and the top for Bontempelli was a 149. And Bont, I think, is just going to go large. Zach Butters has the Fremantle matchup. If we go over here and we go to inside mids, Fremantle is roughly here, just a little, basically going to do what he averages. It's not really a plus or a negative matchup, so yeah, 102, 105, 106, somewhere around there, I reckon, for Butters, and that'll be fine, to be honest with you. Then we go to Jack Steele. He has been huge and has GWS, and GWS for inside mids is down at -2. Is that really going to impact Jack Steele? I don't think so. And yeah, he's been one of the players of the year, to be honest, back to his best, and he's just getting the marks and the tackles, like 15, 16, 15, 13. He's getting 13 as a low for tackles and marks combined. And I know that Jaden a couple of years ago said that 8+ is around the marker for marks and tackles combined, and he's doing +5 on that. So he's making up for not being necessarily the biggest ball hunter and possession gatherer, in that he has a 33, 29, 26, 25 games so far for possessions, but he's making that up with the non-disposal work, which is really key to Jack Steele and how he plays. Bonner, 88 projected. He's going to make a lot more cash, I feel like, still, and he is still on the verge of being out in the next couple of weeks, just because I am still a little bit worried and cautious about him potentially being dropped. So there is that. I'm also worried that he may not get, even a 61, he's still going to gain probably another 20k. So yeah, I'm still projecting that he's going to make a lot of, I still think he'll make more than what this is projecting, of still another 67k, which would get him up to, 726. I think I'll probably cash him out around probably around the 726, but maybe a round earlier. But maybe also hold him another round and cash him out around that 750k, which will be 250k for a guy averaging basically 100 or so, or 95 on my side is pretty good, given that he went 102. So he's gone 61, 127, 94 in the side. That's 121, 221, 282 divided by 3. 282 divided by 3 is a 94 in my side, which is still really, really good. So there's that. Matty Roberts on the bye. Here is the loop that I will be using because I don't trust Jai Clark to outscore Sanders unless hell breaks loose. I probably could have done this with McKercher, not going to lie. But then again, I'm pretty sure, doesn't he play the same... McKercher plays the same game as Jai Clark, so there was no point doing that. There's no players after him that play, as it's Richmond versus West Coast in the last game of the round here, and I have no Richmond or West Coast players, I don't believe. Oh, sorry, I have Campbell, but he cannot go into the midfield line, so there was no midfielders I could use there for McKercher if I wanted to loop him. Then you have Jeremy Sharp here, and he's been really good, and he's going to make more. He's probably going to get to 600 very, very easily, I think, as his break even really is going to stay low for the next couple of weeks given the 106. So yeah, really happy about that. Then you've got Jai Clark here and Riley Sanders on the bench. They're just hopefully making cash. There was a call that Jai Clark probably is going to play in the Rezzies this week, so worried about that. Then you have Barnett here. This is another loop potentially as well. I'm just setting it all out as a loops because then it's easier to show. Rowan Marshall is the trade-in this week. And now we can go back to what I was explaining really weirdly in the first part of the video. Is basically, I believe Rowan Marshall outscores Sam Flanders, the other potential trade-in, by 30 points this week. Now, a 30 points for him covers off if Massimo D'Ambrosio goes large, and I don't get that out of a Closey or a Howes. So there's that point. So that means that at worst, I feel like I am breaking even at worst. And then I was talking about how going Marshall first allows me to get Sam Flanders next week. If you think about it this way, the way I was going to do it with getting rid of Blake Howard left me with, I think, 143k in cash. That didn't allow me next week, I don't think, to get a Marshall, because Marshall is, I would need roughly about 1.25 to get Marshall, I think, or 1.26. 1.26 minus 0.14 is roughly 1.12 million. How am I going to get that 1.12 million out of someone out of two players to both cover off a rookie as well as getting Marshall? It just isn't logical to get. That would be trading out two mid prices to get him. So that's why I didn't necessarily do that. And that's why my plan in the next 3 weeks, and this is why I was saying it makes my trades easier, is to get my plan in the next 3 weeks was Marshall, Flanders, Dacos. I wanted Marshall because he has this matchup. And the matchup right now is GWS, Western Bulldogs, Port Adelaide, North Melbourne. Now we go over to Rucks. Western Bulldogs, GWS, Port Adelaide, North Melbourne. He has the number 1, the number 2, and the number 5 best teams to play against this year in the next 4 weeks. That is way too much value. Whereas if we go to Flanders, right, and we go to Flanders here, and we go to Gold Coast because we can use it through Closey, he's got Hawks, Sydney, Eagles, Lions. Hawks top, Sydney middle, Eagles actually now negative, Lions also negative. So he's got, and these matchups, as you can see here, look at the difference between the ruck matchups and this matchup. +9, +8, +6, +16, +17. So I just think that it is much more valuable to go Marshall first, because I think he almost gets priced out because he's got a 100 or so break even, the same as Sam Flanders. So I think he outscores Flanders at the moment. And I also think that with Flanders, they'll run Robbie Fox next to him next week potentially as well, which sort of scuffs my trade-in of him, which could mean that I may even go Dacos against Port, but Port may run Drew next to him as well. So there's that. So yes, I think that Flanders and against the likes of Sydney isn't necessarily the greatest. So I may look at even going someone else and then Dacos and then Flanders, etc. If I really don't believe that Flanders is going to get away from me, and I do believe in that Fox potentially goes to him rather than Fox could also go to a Mac Andrew as well. And you could see a Harry Cunningham go to a Flanders or something. But then again, Flanders is in the back line as well. So just putting that out there. Flanders is in the back line. So would he be on like a Tom Papley or something like that? So I don't know exactly. But Flanders could be an interesting one to look at to see who he's matched up on. So yeah, that is the team at the moment. Luke Jackson at the moment here. And you'll see this in a way actually. If we just do this will be what my side looks like next week. Effectively, and then hopefully it'll be and I'll be able to go someone and potentially someone and also up and Campbell up to the likes of a Flanders who is 844k. I have 180k in the bank, so 180k plus say Seth Campbell is 430k or so. Say he makes 30k. Against the Eagles or 40k against the Eagles, say he's 430k plus 180 plus Lazaro, that gets me to 960. That is actually pretty close. Now I could almost go a Colby McKercher and a Seth Campbell up to a Flanders and then just play Sanders on the bench here and then a rookie here as well. So there is many different scenarios that I go down that gets me up to the likes of a Flanders, but it may include getting rid of potentially a Fisher or a McKercher and some to get up to him, which is what is the plan now. For round 6, I would have Flanders in there, and I would have Powell F4, Dempsey F5, and then probably a Darcy Wilson or a Lazaro if he's back playing F6, and that would be the scenario there. And then hopefully the week after we get the Sanders DPP, and I can play him here or something, or Sanders would be in here, but hopefully then I can get Sanders down here and then start upgrading this midfield, etc. And that will be sort of the way forward. But yes, one of the things I really need to work on is getting cash gen back into the side. But hopefully we can do that across the whole year as Zach Reed will slowly get back into it and get some cash gen. Blake Howes will go down sometime soon. Jai Clark also is slowly earning cash, and hopefully the North Melbourne matchup he can smash out another big score as that will make him some cash. Lazaro hopefully gets back in. Don't know why they went Hugh Greenwood last week. He really provided nothing, and Shields didn't provide anything. So Lazaro back in should be the way forward for North, but we'll see tonight whether that is the case with team selection. And then also you got if I go here, and then also yes, I do know that Luke Jackson does have his running mate in Sean Darcy back, so he will be the way to probably Dacos, I would suggest. So there is that issue there as well. So it may mean that in the end I go Zach Williams and also Seth Campbell up or something like that. And that depends on Colby McKercher, because Luke Jackson could potentially be my way to Nick Dacos, to be honest with you. But we'll wait and see on that front as well, as I could just get a forward in there, etc. But that is basically the video there, going through my fancy trades. I think my team's in an all-right position, not necessarily the greatest position, but I think I got 3 good midfielders. My defensive line, once I get Dacos in, is pretty much set, other than potentially Elliot Yeo out. Riley Bonner could be a good piece to use as well, up to someone, and then it's just the 3 rookies in Roberts, McKercher, and Sharp. I already have my 2 rucks as well, and I've got I've got 3 forwards already. Jackson will probably turn into another forward or defender, so I'm pretty much got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, probably 8 or 9, maybe even 10 guys to still upgrade, but it's not realistically 10 full upgrades. It's almost two or three mid prices that need to get upgraded, and 1, 2, 3, 4. Even putting just Isaac Heaney back here as well. Just putting that. Let me actually just quickly sort this out so that I can figure out how many guys I actually have to fully upgrade for you. That looks at. So it is 1, 2 mid, a mid pricer, a rookie. So 1, 2, 3, 4 rookies, 6 rookies, I would say, that I need to upgrade, as well as 1, 2, and 3 mid prices. So it's 6 rookies and 3 mid prices, and then a full pricer in Luke Jackson that probably needs to get moved on to Slam Flanders in the next little bit. So anyway, that is the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.